with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the United States. We will be making a springtime card tonight, and I'm going to tell you right up front, the Easter basket photopolymer stamp set that I am using is currently on back order. So this will be back in stock the week of March 2nd, it says. So that's not that far away. And I apologize. I had already started making my projects and it wasn't on back order then. So there we are. Let's see if we can get this up so I can see the comments. And let's go, come on, live chat. There we go. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Cheryl. Share. Whoa. I know. I know the back order situation. I thought, oh, let me just look and see. Nope, there it is. On back order. It's okay. Anyhow, through tomorrow, Stampin' Up! Has free shipping. And I would encourage you to take advantage of that. And if you have your bonus days coupons, you need to, your $75 is after you've applied your bonus coupons. So let's say you have $10 in bonus coupons, you would need to actually put $85 worth of product into your cart so that when you took the $10 bonus coupon, that two $5 bonus coupons off, you would still have $75 in your cart. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that. Go ahead, take advantage. In addition to the Easter basket bundle, we're actually using the whole bundle, stamps and dies. I'm also going to be using Pop and Buy. This set is currently on the last chance. It is still in stock, and it's discounted down to $14. So we're going to be using this sentiment for that. And then I'm also going to be using this product, the 2025 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. There are lots of things in this kit, but it comes with 2 stamp sets and there's a set of dies in one of those pockets. Okay, and we're going to be using these dies, and we're also going to be using one of the sentiments from the stamp set. You get a double stamp set, one with images, one with sentiments in that Advent kit. It is currently in the last chance for $79.20. So if you take advantage of that now while it's on free shipping, that is a stellar deal. Okay. It has some other things in it. I'm not going to show you everything in case you get it. You haven't watched the videos for the unboxings, but there just are a lot of cool things in there. So we're going to be using this. I wanted to try and use some things that are on the last chance list tonight, along with some current product that I thought you could purchase like right now to make this card. So our designer series paper that I'm using is the Easter Joy specialty paper. I didn't look to see if this was on back order. I didn't. Probably should have. These are the patterns that are in there. This is a little different designer series paper than what we're used to. It's way thicker. This is thicker than our regular cardstock. And it's glossy with some foil accents on one side and then plain on the back. This is the pattern that we're actually going to be using tonight. Okay. Originally, I had thought that I would make a little Easter basket treat box for you tonight. And then I got this idea in my head yesterday. And so I decided to postpone the Easter basket for another time. And I might just end up making a video and showing how to make this. I'm not sure at this point, but this is the basket, and it comes with the little pieces so that you can weave that basket. But we're not doing that tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our card. We've got a card base of Balmy Blue, and this is a standard A2 5.5 by 8.5. I've pre-scored it at 4 1/4, and then we're going to give that a quick bone fold. Okay, so we've got that, and then we have a piece of the Designer Series paper. This is the back side. This is the front side. We're going to, or this is actually the A side, what we call the A side. We're using the B side for this particular card because I didn't want a busy background to distract from my focal image. Okay, so we've got that. I've pre-cut from the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. This large die here in crumb cake. And you know what? I just realized I forgot to emboss that. So we'll have to do that because I forgot. And then I've also cut from white, from basic white, this second of the squares, of the layering squares. And then I've also cut a piece of basic white using this rectangle for our sentiment. So those are the dies that I'm going to be using from the Advent calendar. All right, so let's go ahead and get this taken care of because I forgot to do that. Let me grab my embossing machine, and I have to get the big one. And then I have to grab my embossing folder. I'm coming right here. Okay, let's put the machine on the floor for just a minute. We're going to be using the All in a Row embossing folder. This is, I grabbed the wrong set. Sorry, I need the other pads. This is not a 3D embossing folder. So in order to emboss with this, you need the base plate one, and then you need 2 acrylic pads, and you're going to sandwich your folder between the plates. So I'm going to take my die cut here in the crumb cake. I'm just going to set it here in the middle, how I want it. I've got the Stampin' Up! Logo face down and the side that I want to emboss face down, okay? And then I'm just going to close this up. This is what I find works best for me. If I do it this way, then I don't have to try and flip anything around or do anything crazy. And then I'll put it in with the spine of my embossing folder in first. And I'm just going to roll that through. And that's normal. That's a normal sound. I didn't break anything. Okay, so now what we have is this beautifully embossed piece. And this is the embossed side, and this is the debossed side. Of course, you could use either. We're going to be using the embossed side. All right, so now that we've got that, let's go ahead and pull out our other pieces. Okay, here's our white, and here's our white. And then we need some scrap white to stamp on. Okay. So let's grab a piece of that. Oh, that's not going to work. Man, I thought I was so prepared, but apparently I wasn't nearly as prepared as I thought I was. Well, I pre-cut and stamped. I pre-stamped and cut everything, and then I forgot that I would need to show you what I did. So that's what's not prepared. Okay. So the ink colors that we're using tonight are these. Balmy Blue. I'm using Pebbled Path. If you don't have, this is a retired color. If you don't have a Pebbled Path, by all means, use your basic gray. Okay, this is what I started with, but I really prefer Pebbled Path, and because I have it on hand, I'm going to use it. Pretty in Pink and Azure Afternoon. Okay, so we're going to stamp our images with the Pebbled Path. So I'm going to stamp the little bent over ear bunny and 3 carrots. Okay, that's what we need. And then you also need for the inside of the card an extra little bunny, if you so choose. Okay, and that I think we're done with our Pebbled Path. Okay, so to color our little bunnies, I'm going to start with a light petal pink, and I'm just going to give them some cute little cheeks using the bullet tip. And then I'm going to take my light flirty flamingo, and these are the Stampin' Blends alcohol markers, and I'm just going to put a little bit. I'm not really coloring my bunny, just want to give him some character. So that's all we're doing for that. And then we're going to take our light Timid Tiger, and I'm only going to color one of these because I already have them done. So I only need to show you one, I think. So we're going to take our light Timid Tiger, and then we're going to go to our dark Timid Tiger and just go along the artist lines there. And I put a little bit up here at the top where there might be a shadow. And then I'm going to go to the light Shy Shamrock and color in the carrot tops. And then I'm going to go with the dark Shy Shamrock. And I'm going to go in at the base and just flick up a little bit of dark color. Okay, and I would do that for all 3. All right. Then we're going to take out our dies and we'll cut the bunnies and the carrots. Okay, and there's only one of each, so you would have to run this through 3 times to get the carrots. Okay, this is that Easter basket, and these are the die that gives you the pieces to weave. And we will make that basket at some point. Just not today, because this idea popped into my head and I really wanted to use it. So that's why. Okay, so through the magic of video, oh, those pieces are already done. There's one more thing we need to do. We need to stamp with the Pretty in Pink. And this heart is from the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. And I'm doing that in Pretty in Pink. There is no die for this, so that must be fussy cut. And then we'll go ahead and do the rest of our stamping here. I'm going to bring in this piece for our sentiment. And my stamp positioning tool. And this, the stamp set that we're using is Poppin' By, and it is a red rubber. So I can't see through that. So I'm going to use this. I've pre-lined this up to get it exactly how I wanted it, because I'm not only am I using red rubber, I'm taking a, uh-oh, didn't really want that. I need to get that not so sticky, because I need to be able to get that up off of there without ripping it. So I'm going to put this in here. When I pre-lined this up, I made myself a little outline so I would know where it was at, so that if I were to make multiples, I would just be able to pop this in and do it. Okay? So I'm just going to put that there. I've already got my sentiment on my block. Okay? Or not my block, but my small positioner, and I'm putting it here at the bottom. Okay, now you can see that this sentiment is way too long for that die cut. So we're going to put popping in 2, and then we're going to say hello on the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Azure Afternoon ink pad. And I am only going to ink up popping in 2. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my ink pad partially so that I've got just that part inked up. Okay, then I'm going to place this on my tool, give it a little tap here to make sure that's all nice and straight, and then I'm going to give that a press. That red rubber was not touching my paper. Okay, so now I've got popping in 2. We're going to take and clean that off. Okay, with a chamois. And then I needed to use washi tape or mint tape to mask off the other end, because otherwise my feet would get into my ink pad, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to cover this here and cover off the most of that, because I'm not going to go all that far into the ink pad. Okay, so then I can bring this in and I can turn the say hello so that it's closer to the ink pad, and I can just bring this in here like this, ink that up, pull this off. This is the most important part. And then we'll place this back down. Oh, wait a minute. I got to move this. I got to move my piece up here because I had it set to stamp up there, and now I need it to stamp down here. So I pre-figured out how I needed to do that. And again, drew my little things on my grid thing. Now I'll line this up, and again, this is not touching my paper, so it's okay. And then I'll just give that a press. Okay, and then I should be good, but look, I messed it up. Dang it. Did I cut it extra? Oh, I got too much ink at the edge, and I did not cut it extra. That was silly. Okay, well, we'll cut it extra. We'll do that again. Not sure why that did that like that, because I had it perfectly lined up. Okay, give me 1 second. We'll grab that die. This is real life crafting, folks. Real life crafting. I should have done an extra last night when I was doing it, and it was all working perfectly. Because as soon as you get on a live, if something can go wrong, trust me, it will. Okay. So we're just going to take that same, nope, that's not going to fit. I need a smaller piece that we caught over there. Just give me a scrap. That's all I need. Something little. Just something little. Let's try that again. Hopefully we won't have to cut another one. Well, I'll just fix it later if we do. That's what I'll do. But we'll give it another try here. Okay, let's bring back in that board. This time we'll do this part right. And I'll use my temporary adhesive, which is the smart way to go. Put this down here like so. Pretty sure I did not move that. I was going to try something else today, but I wouldn't do it because I already had this set up and I didn't want to mess it up. Okay, so let's put that on there. This one came out in perfect form where it was supposed to. Okay. Now, move this one over here. Line that up on that line. Should go right like that. I've moved it up enough. Let's clean that off. Re-ink it. Stick that back on there. Ink that back up. Okay. And then this should be perfectly placed. Just make sure. Okay. There we go. Thanks for hanging with me. Oh, hello, Laura. Oh, good. Thank you, Tracy, for checking on that for me. I appreciate it. Okay, so that is that. Now we're also going to take this Azure Afternoon. I'm going to take this white piece. And I'm going to take my blending brush, which disappeared off of my tray here, which is weird. Huh. Oh, did I put it away? Yep, it looks like I did. Silly me. Okay, so we're going to take this and I'm going to ink this up. Give that a good rub on my glass mat so I don't end up with any rough marks in there. And then I'll just give this a little bit of ink. So that it looks like sky. All right. Give that a quick little wipe. And now we'll put our card together because now we have our pieces. Okay, so here are our die cut pieces. Let me pull those out of here. Okay. Are we good now? Okay. Sorry, guys. For some reason, it disconnected from the internet and it was sitting there saying, oh, you need to reconnect. And I did not see that. I'm sorry I wasn't paying close enough attention to the comments. Hopefully we won't have those issues again. I'm going to pop this little carrot right under here with a glue dot like that. And then I'm going to take this carrot with another glue dot. And actually, let me go ahead and put this on here. As long as I don't take the backing off, I'll be fine. I'm going to put this like this. And then I'll keep an eye, try to keep an eye to make sure it's not doing that again. Stupid internet. Okay. And we're going to put this out here kind of like this. So I'm going to put this down like so, making sure that I don't go off the side of my card. And then I'll remove these backings. And we'll pop this down here like so. And then we'll take another glue dot. Put that in the center. Did it come off? It did. And then we're going to pop this one right here. And I'm just going to stick, let's see. I'll put my scissors under there so I can give that a good press so that I know that's not going to move. Okay, so we're almost done with this here. Let's go ahead and add a crumb cake twine, baker's twine bow. I'm just going to take and tie a double bow with the baker's twine. This is in the baker's twine essential pack. You get 5 colors: black, crumb cake, vanilla, gray granite, and white. Okay, so let's give that a little trim. And then again, we'll take the glue dots, which I covered with a dimensional, and I'm going to lay this right down on my glue dot. If I can get it to behave here, I'll just lay that, press it right into my glue dot, take my tweezers, I'm going to squeeze that glue dot into the center part, and then I'm going to place this right here on my project. Okay, and then for the finishing touch, we're going to take the hues of blue flowers. And I'm going to take one of these white flowers, the larger ones. I'm going to stick that right in the center of my bow here and give that a really good press. And I'm using the tip of my take your pick tool to really press that in. So I don't want that to come off. And that is the outside of our card. For the inside, I took Thinking of You from the Advent Calendar stamp set. I cut that bunny again, like I just showed you. And then I put the heart underneath his paws so that it looks like he's holding the heart. Added that to the top of this same piece of Designer Series paper. That's a 1/2 inch. And then we're just going to put this in, and this card will be finished. Okay. All right. And then for the envelope, I took the address to you. I love that little swooshy thing. And then put 3 little carrots there. And that is my project for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I appreciate it. Sorry about the internet issues. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Like and subscribe and push that notification bell so that you'll get notified every time I go live and or post a video. And I will be back on Facebook Tuesday night at 7, back here next Thursday night at 7 on YouTube. Do not forget about free shipping. That will goes through tomorrow, midnight Mountain Time. So 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, which is 10:59 here in Oregon. So keep that in mind when you're placing your orders. Don't wait until the last minute and take into account the different time zone. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you so much. Good night, everybody.